Cool. Well, let's get started. I'm just gonna maybe ask you to sit, or this is your chair. I'm not staying here. So, this session we're going to talk about, or you guys are going to talk about leveraging contract centralization for competitive advantage. We're gonna do it with Vincent Coste. He's from Welii. He was a CFO before, and he had so many challenges that he just decided to fix them all, and that's why he started Welii. He's going to talk about more about that. And then we have Gilles, who's a happy customer, or at least he looks happy to me. So they're gonna talk about basically how to get a competitive advantage. So let's get to it. Enjoy.
Yes, thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you everyone for being here. Disclaimer, my English is very bad. Sorry for that, but all the main information are going to be there. So as you said, I was a CFO. I had many challenges about procurement. So one day I decided to create a business and to tackle some challenges that we have faced in my previous company. So basically, what are we doing today? We help businesses to better manage the SaaS spend. So first, we help them to identify what do they have. That's the first problem. They have no this visibility. Then we give them all the insight necessary to identify some usage information, also some other insight about market conditions. And then with some human expertise, we also enable our customers to put in place a strategy for better negotiate all these contracts and go and save up to 20 to 36% of the SaaS spend. And today, just a few numbers, we have more than 150 customers. And I'm very happy to be there today to with Gilles, an happy customer of
Thank you for having me.
Welii. And maybe you would like to, I know everyone knows you here and in the ecosystem, but maybe you can do a quick intro.
Yeah, so my name is Gilles, I'm co-founder and CEO of Livestorm. We're a webinar platform. We've been around for the past 8 years, and we have about like 4,000 customers, leader in Europe, leader in the market, one of the biggest player out there. And we specifically aim to sell to enterprise in certain industries in Europe, and that's what we do.
Very good. So 8 years now?
8 years.
Yes, congratulations. Congratulations. And so can you tell us more about your learnings when you started about Welii? What was the things that make you think you need to do something on SaaS purchasing?
So the first thing is, I guess, taking a step back. You have the plan, and then you have the reality. And usually, what it means is there's the spend that you have in SaaS, and that you want to have in SaaS, and you have the actual spend. So what I mean by that, there is usually discrepancies and stuff you cannot follow in terms of spend, and this is really hard to track unless you have a very tight budget or way to identify the spend that you have. And actually, you have about in average, I think it's about 100 different software in a given company, so it's very hard to track. So that's the first thing. Second thing is people don't know how to buy. It is a very special skill set to have, and people don't know how to negotiate contract. They don't know how to buy a contract. They don't necessarily have all the different benchmarks and prices and that sort of thing. So procurement, well, as it says, it is an actual job. And for us, we didn't have visibility on all that. We have often contracts that it was supposed to be renewed, but often too late. And when they were renewed, then we had no skills. We had a hard time negotiating them. And at the end of the day, if you take like a really strong step back, for the same amount of software that you have basically an increasing cost, which increase every year, and that impacts your P&L, and that's money that don't goes into the team. This money that doesn't go into the marketing and that sort of thing.
What was the process at this time for buying software? It was a context of decentralization.
Yes,
How did it work?
All decentralized, everyone owning their own stack, owning their own tools, and VPs and head off, and whoever was going to buy their own software. And then basically it all came back to the same problem where not everyone is a buyer, and depending on the manager, depending on who is buying the software, you have a risk of having an increasing stack. And so yeah.
And it was for buying software, but then to manage during the time, not having any central record system to manage all your contracts.
Absolutely, you don't. I mean, from my point of view, and even maybe from some of, even my CFO, it was sometimes hard to say, who is buying what and who owns what are the exhaustive list of software that we have internally, how much do we pay for it, in general. Unless you were actually digging into the Excel sheet or, whatever P&L, you would not have an actual number of the total. And you couldn't give like an actual performance on how much did you save or not save on a given period. This was pretty much a black box.
And so as soon as you have put in place Welii, you have been able to identify this pain. So what was the effect at this moment?
So I think the first one is, first of all, kind of a mental unload. The first one is essentially, I was always caught by surprise in a way. Whenever the renewal was actually coming up, I was like, yeah, I didn't know that renewal was coming up, and it was often too late. So the first thing that we gained was having someone we could delegate that mental load of having a contract coming. So now I can safely say, you know what, I don't care about whatever software. I know that Estelle, who works with us, who is the IT buyer from Welii, is going to reach out and say, hey, watch out, there is this contract coming up. You need to be paying attention. Maybe we need to renew it or whatever. So that's the first thing. Second thing is collaboration. We don't have any silos anymore because we have someone to coordinate everyone. So we have an actual IT buyer. And the last thing is we have an actual reporting that gives me the number of SaaS spend or a certain amount of software that we pay. The total, have the amount that we spare, and what to expect financially. So those are the three major items that change for us.
Could you share some tactics that you learned for negotiation?
The thing is, and that's the funny thing is, I don't care anymore about those negotiation skills, and because at the end of the day, this is your job, not mine, and I'm really happy not to do it, and I'm really happy to have someone I can delegate that to. So honestly, I don't have any tactics, and that's a good thing. I don't think anyone should have tactics, unless you.
And can you share some benefits maybe you have also from the platform as well?
Yeah, sure.
Like having all your contracts in one single place, does it give you some benefits valuable?
Yeah, for sure. Visibility, that's one thing. Visibility on numbers, as I said. Collaboration with my team. I can always go there and say, hey, you manager, you have this tool coming up. What do you think we should change it? Should we, what are the leverage we can pull? So visibility, collaboration increased. Also, obviously, we're going profitable this year. No, we are profitable this year. And I think part of the success is being able to reduce the amount of spend that we have in software without actually cutting the software, but also just renegotiating some of them and have a leaner stack. And actually, that was part of the process of being able to do that with Welii was definitely a game changer. And yeah, maybe I can give some numbers so it's actually very actionable for people, because I have the Welii dashboard just here. Actually, I just opened before the presentation. But essentially, contract on the contract period, it was about 200K of savings over 15 negotiations. So that's actually pretty good. And the average saving per negotiation was about 30%. So that's actually huge. I think before we should have the number actually increase. The spend increase and not decrease, and this is actually now decreasing by about 30% for everyone. So really good numbers, and I think we can do more. To be honest, still there is still room for improvement. Still,
I'm pretty sure. How do you feel today? Do you have maybe a situation today you could share with a supplier or something?
Yeah,
is super recent for you.
Yeah, so typically, I know a few examples, bad and good. Bad example, recently, a software that was not actually in the program, in the Welii program, that we haven't identified, and just learned that a couple of weeks ago that we are actually going to renew this contract, and not only renew, but potentially increase it. If we had been able to spot it, we probably have had a better chance to renegotiate it. We have this really big upgrade coming up, renewing coming up. It's billing software. It's about 10% of the software spend that we do. on a yearly basis, and it's honestly the fact that we have someone to be the bad guy in the conversation is really relieving. We don't have to spend too much time thinking about it, and we have already cut the increase that was going with the renewal. And our goal is to actually reduce the contract and make it a bit leaner still. So all of that was fully dedicated, and we don't have to pay attention to it too much. So it's good.
You keep a good energy on your day-to-day.
Exactly. You don't have to. It's just energy you can put elsewhere.
And on your procurement strategy, now you have centralized and optimized all your SaaS stack. It's quite lean. What will be your next step? As now you're profitable, do you have any other challenges to come on this procurement side?
If you look at IT is a very broad spectrum, right? You have obviously software that you spend, infrastructure. If you're running a product or a software, you already have like infrastructure. You have a partnership with a company called Do It that can handle that for you as well. And I think the last item that is missing for us is everything that is not proper software. So every single process of buying something that doesn't belong to software is definitely something that I would like to have a buyer, manage to. So typically, platform as a service, is one thing. Services, if we are to, go with a agency or whatever. So everything that we buy that is not proper software is definitely something I would like to be able to have.
Amazing. I think I know something for you.
Yes, I know.
And all right, so I think I have no more question for you, but maybe a last one. What will be the tips you would like to share to all the CEOs listening to us?
Honestly, I think it's definitely something I wish we would have done sooner. Not obviously, yes, going through Welii, but in general, the idea of paying more attention to procurement and how things are done. Even like centralize everything is one thing. Avoid silos. One thing that I've noticed way too late is not everyone is not a good negotiator, but often people say yes to contracts renewal because they don't want to lose time with it. They have other things to do, and that's understandable. But centralizing procurement, paying attention to the amount of contracts, track it, because at the end of the day, that spend is actually a lot on the P&L. And now that more than ever, this whole cost-cutting thing is important for profitability and whatever. It is definitely, something you need to pay attention these days. So, yeah, don't overlook procurement in general.
Thank you, Gilles. Thank you.
All good.
Maybe anyone have questions for us?
Yes.
Is there another added value of such a solution for large teams, for example? Because if everyone's working in silo, maybe you have different tech stack used by different teams, and no one's having a general conversation about what are the softwares that we should actually be using and deciding collectively on a proper stack.
Yeah, sure. So Gilles have been explaining how we identify the spend, how we share insight, and how we hack to optimize it. Then the next step is how do I make sure these problems never come back? And this is where the next platform is coming. So one of the first things we propose to our clients is a single place, a central place for making any new purchase. And it's a form where you explain your needs, what you need. We help you to challenge this need, and then we are going to tell you, okay, be careful because we know some other companies, profile like you, they also use this tool, this tool, this tool. So maybe you should talk to them. Be careful because in your company you also have these suppliers that basically do the same thing. For example, whiteboarding tools. Every time we have a new customer, there is always 5 whiteboarding tools, but it's basically for any kind of new tool. Yeah, exactly. And so we are able to give you this insight before to take a decision. right in Welii, and then after we can help you finding the good conditions and make sure like you go on the right at the right person to buy your license, and even more because sometimes also you can have the situation by buying some Livestorm licenses because you have many people in the company that need a tool like Livestorm to make a video chat with the team, so they will take a license in the site. So you can identify all this and rationalize to have a full contract.
The good news is we don't have licenses specifically for that. So, you can use Livestorm with everyone in your company. Anyway, side of track. Anyway, and also one thing I wanted to say is, even if we have something in-house, we do have something in-house for everything that goes through Welii, right? And it has good sides, obviously, because you can still, keep track of some of it. But I think what will be good in the future when that comes is you'll be able to actually involve all the other teams and trying to rationalize everything. Typically, one thing for us that is very important, Livestorm is ISO 27K certified, and that's a big security certification, and that goes with a lot of legal incumbents. Legal has to be in the process of every single procurement process, and if you don't have a tool or a solution that has some sort of comment system or approval system or whatever, it doesn't work out. So hopefully this is something that will come, and that's probably the only missing piece for us. Otherwise, just check the boxes.
Final questions?
Maybe a last tips.
Go ahead, we have time. Last tips?
Yeah. But procurement, one important thing is when you need to choose your supplier, the company that is going potentially to help you on this side is really take a look at one things. Are they a marketplace or is it not a marketplace? Marketplace looks nice because it's fully automated. You have a pre-negotiated deals and then it's move fast. But that's actually not the right solutions. You need to really understand and take the time to identify the right solutions according to your needs, and then you go and speak with the right suppliers that fit your needs. Because on marketplace, usually you will have some solutions that not reflect your needs, and they are more like here because there are some financial aspect between them and the suppliers itself. So that's something important to understand about the market.
I might have another tips is usually when you hire someone, right, you have a benchmark. You don't pay obviously someone depending on the job, depending on the position, on the management level. You have like certain grid. Actually, that doesn't exist in software. That sort of thing, it doesn't exist. Basically you pay whatever the software or whatever the software is willing to provide in terms of price. So depending on the client, you can have a totally different price for whatever reason. And I think when it comes to procurement, having someone that has the data internally to tell you this is way too much overpriced or way underpriced is also a very good. And this is something you don't know unless you have someone that is expert and knows the market.
Thank you, Gilles.
You guys are right on time. Well, I think the better question is when does it end? And it's right now. So, yeah.
Maybe do you have a question?
How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Cool. No, we're going to wrap it up, but they're going to stay here so you can ask them how they are. Real practical, we have a break from the content. So go ahead and mingle or stay here and ask questions. And practical at 4:30, we have the happy hour. You have the things over there. I don't know. The beer thing is in your pocket, so you can get the free 2 drinks for free at the party. Thanks, Gilles. Thanks, Vincent.
Thanks, everyone.